where we're joined via Skype by a consultant radiologist and chief executive of ProRad Health Centers, Dr. Tayo Denton. Good evening, Dr. Denton. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, and thank you again.
We're focusing today on public transportation during the COVID-19 era. Now, in Canada, what's obtainable there under the present circumstances? How are they enforcing the guidelines and ensuring that people are staying safe?
It's mostly by information and by empowering the local population. We don't actually have enforcement as such, which means that we don't have policemen walking around or going around and putting people in order. There is a social conscience, if you like, that basically people, only essential workers go around. We observe social distancing, which means you go to shops, you go to anywhere, there usually has to be a space of about 3 meters, 2 meters between you and the next person. But it has to be said also that transportation is also being taxed. The major one in Toronto is called the TTC, the subway, as well as the trains. And they are also subject to crowding that you can't really observe social distancing as you would like. So Nigeria is not unique in that case, but people are empowered to figure out, okay, I know I have to travel, but what can I do to lessen the possible effects of transmission? Which means you sanitize, which means you don't touch as many surfaces as possible, which means you only spend a small amount of time, the least amount of time you can, in closed spaces. And that's how we try and deal with it. But it is inevitable that because of population matters, you're going to have people sometimes in closed, confined quarters.
Have you seen any impact of that in terms of how the COVID-19 pandemic is being managed there by healthcare professionals like yourself?
There is funny thing about COVID is that there are quite different presentations. Patients come with maybe diarrhea, maybe fatigue, sometimes even stroke. And when they're doing the tests for maybe other reasons, maybe for the same reason, because of a suspicion, they come out COVID positive. Has it really affected our numbers? Our numbers are quite good. They're probably the best they are in the developed world. And the hospitals are not at capacity. We're probably at about half to 50%, half to 2/3 capacity in terms of patients. So we're well able to cope. But the point is actually keeping it at that level. And so the lockdown has not been lifted. People are being sensitized to say only go for essential matters. And when you do, try and go. There's no edict. Wear a mask if you can, and just be sensible about it.
What can you say about how Canada has generally managed this pandemic? You've talked about different presentations and how people come in and they get treated, and the issue of capacity and space. What are the lessons that a country like Nigeria, can learn from how Canada has managed to keep its numbers at a manageable level and is still, in fact, enforcing a lockdown?
I think the first problem, allowing them to understand what's going on and saying you're empowered. If you want, you can choose life or you can choose money. Sometimes that's what it boils down to. And if you feel that your life is important to you, here are the steps you can take. It's going to be short gain for a long-term gain. So, and people are empowered. They wear face masks. They do what they can. They don't go out unnecessarily. So I can look out around me now and see next to nobody on the streets. Very few cars. So, and also they're testing a lot more, and they actually started closing down much earlier than everywhere else. We closed down in terms of staying home ahead of the US, and in the same time frame ahead of the UK. So that, I think, has made a marked difference. Plus, we do significantly more testing for the unit population we have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Denton. Dr. Tayo Denton, of course, joined us from Toronto in Canada. Thank you so much for your time, and do continue to stay safe out there.
Thank you very much, and you stay safe, keep well.